me where pies go when they die.
You're the most cold-blooded man I've ever seen.
How can you have any meat if you don't eat your pudding?
The Tommy Boyds Show.
Back and to the left.
The show with more endurance than radiation itself.
You say either, and I say either.
Apparently official.
Stand by, please.
Tommy Boyds.
Apparently official.
Have you no compassion?
Stand by, please.
Let's rehang the pictures in the gallery of life.
There's no escaping here.
Tommy Boyds.
Morning. Right, let's get this one sorted out and then I can go home, right down the beach, whatever. Free call 0500 10 53 89. It's not difficult. It's an either or. It's A, B or C. Here's the question. Which is best? Smoking, drinking or gambling? Free call 0500 10 53 89. Which is best for you? Which is best for those around you? And which is best for the nation as a whole? Smoking, drinking or gambling? You can, if you want to, add to the list, but I think that will only muddy the coffee. For me, it's gambling. I could give up smoking tomorrow. Giving up smoking's easy, he joked. I've done it lots of times, but I could. No doubt about that. Giving up drinking, I think that's doable. But I couldn't give up gambling. I wouldn't dream of giving up gambling. There's absolutely no reason to give up gambling. There is reason to contaminate other people with the new religion. And this, by the way, is official. The new religion, which is gambling. Free call 0500 10 53 89. It's all laid out for me in black and white and you won't have heard it anywhere else before. 3:05 this Tuesday afternoon. Betting shops are our new churches. And gambling is a new religion. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm not joking. It's absolutely true. Most of the churches in Britain cannot make the claims that the betting shops of Britain can with regard to the contribution they make to the infrastructure of our modern society. Think about it. Betting shops close their doors to no one at any time of day. 364 days a year you can go into a betting shop. They're open from 10 o'clock in the morning and right the way through, and sometimes until 11 o'clock at night if there's evening races. They close their doors to no one. You don't have to go in and buy anything. It's not like any other shop in the high street. They are warm, they are comfortable, they are dry. You have privacy. You have somewhere to sit. Britain's betting shops are our new churches. They offer contact. A pensioner can go into a bookies at 10:30 in the morning and can find himself, or it usually is him, although more women, thankfully, are getting into gambling. He can find himself surrounded by other men of his own generation. They can establish that crucial camaraderie which is male bonding, which he will have missed since he gave up work. They can have a little chat. They can josh. They can take the mickey gently in that kind way that men do about the other's mode of attire, preferences when it comes to football, but most of all, their successes and failures the previous day with the horses that they thought were going to win. No, they offer an essential social service, Britain's betting shops. Free call 0500 10 53 89. And that's just the pensioners who are the typical morning punters. I've been reading a study of gambling in betting shops, which has been put together by a doctor of sociology, Mark Neal, at the University of Reading. And it's he who makes the point that our betting shops are the new churches. And it's he who makes a point that a tremendous wealth of salvation takes place in these places, which are free to enter for everybody over the age of 18. You have, in the morning, he says, the morning punter. The majority are male pensioners. Not surprisingly, they are free from work commitments and outnumbered other work-free groups. The trip to the betting shop was an important part of their day's routine and often was integrated into other activities like walking the dog or doing the shopping. Now listen, the trip provided structure and a forum for discussion and banter. With the demise of male-only pubs and clubs, the betting shop is one of the few places where they could consort with friends and acquaintances without their wives. Then you have the lunchtime punter. The lunchtime punter is somebody who is stuck in an unchanging job, an unchanging world, and the betting shop offers them hope. The betting shop offers them the possibility of change. All of these are functions which the churches used to fulfill. Somewhere to get out of the wind, somewhere to have friendly contact, somewhere where you could indulge your hope, somewhere you could enjoy the possibility of change in your life. Is it any surprise that besides the honest, upright, white-collared gamblers such as myself, and yourself, I hope, betting shops also offer such peerless sanctuary to Britain's pensioners, the homeless, criminals, workers in dead-end jobs? Free call 0500 1053 89. Are you converted? Are you interested in this Damascean experience? Let me help. If you're not sure how to gamble, or you're not sure which bookie is for you, then I will advise you just in the way that a lay preacher might suggest which form of religion might be best for you. If, for example, you used to be a Catholic, I would steer you towards Ladbrokes, because Catholicism is the biggest religion on earth, and Ladbrokes are the biggest bookies on earth. If you used to be a Protestant, in other words, follow a religion that doesn't really like the middleman, then I would direct you to bet in the betting shops. Steady, concentrate, Boyd. If you're a Muslim, I would recommend that you take up bingo and play it at one of the many Mecca bingo halls that we have in the country. And therefore, you see, quite simply, instead of worshipping Leviticus 3, 2 to 5, then you are worshipping the 4 o'clock at Bath, and something that opened at 7s but now is 11 to 2. Free call 0500 1053 89. If you used to be a Buddhist and you followed the 4 holy truths, how easy, how simple it is to convert your 4 holy truths into an each-way Yankee. Free call 0500 1053 89. And I haven't even begun yet to explain the king of all bets. 247 bets in all. It's called a Goliath, but we'll come to that later. Free call 0500 1053 89. It's here in black and white. Betting shops are our new churches, and gambling is the newest religion. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
It's time to poison the water hole.
Cutting edge. Tommy Boyd.
Sucks less.
You know, I don't want to bring this up, but you've been treating a lot of people with a lot of disrespect.
Betting shops. They are doing more for Britain than our churches. Alan calls from Newcastle. Alan, you're on Talk Radio. Hello.
Hello, Tommy.
Alan.
Totally disagree with you, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am a member of a church that goes against gambling, smoking, betting, all kinds of bad things. You know, you're being the devil's advocate on this one, I think.
No, I couldn't be speaking more from the heart, Alan. What church do you go to?
I'm the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yes, and you turn people away.
We don't turn anyone away.
Yes, you do.
Why do we turn people away?
Well, your church is closed. You wouldn't let the homeless lig in your church.
Well, we would.
No, you don't.
Why, how do you know that?
I bet you there are more homeless ligging in betting shops this afternoon than in churches.
Well, my argument actually was concerning the fact that the betting shops, when you go into betting shops, you've got people who are smoking, which if you don't smoke, it's bad for your health to start with, and you're losing money if that's 2 things, you know, so you're going wrong straight away, are you?
The betting shops of this nation are more of a home to our homeless than the churches.
Are they?
Hmm? Yep.
Have you got facts to justify that?
It's true. It's obvious. You've never been in a bookie, so you wouldn't know.
I've been in a church.
I've been in a church recently. I've never seen a homeless person sitting around all day in a church, ever.
Well, I have actually. And there's 1 or 2 that come to my church regularly who sort of are homeless. And we don't turn anybody away at all.
What about the old... But nobody's got any reason to go.
They have, because, you know, they're worshipping their saviour. That's why they go. They're seeking help.
Yeah, who wants to do that? Who needs help? People don't want to know that they need help in life. People just want a bit of a friendly banter. They want to have a little bit of fun. You know, it's hard being a human being without you lot down on us all the time.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's easy religion, very easy.
Yeah, but it's no fun.
I know.
No, it isn't, is it?
So people say.
Well, it's not, is it? It's not as much fun as being down the bookies and having something on the 345, is it?
As I said, it's becoming a devil called devil's advocate, so that's the problem. You know, I can't agree with it at all.
No, but you're just, you're frightened, you're terrified that if you don't come on the radio and say that, yes, you are, you're frightened of going to hell. No, I'm not, you see.
No, because I'm not going to go to hell.
You lot go on about salvation. Glorious, we've got the rest of our lives ahead of us. But, let me bring in Jimmy in London. Jimmy, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Tommy. I did want to answer the point that the other chap made, because it does just sound a little bit hypocritical. In fact, the Mormon Church, the banking system that they have in Nevada, put all the money that created Las Vegas, which is the greatest gambling center that the world has ever known. And in fact, now much of Las Vegas is owned by businesses in which there's a very, very strong Mormon interest, as well as putting up the money in the first place, literally lending the money from the Mormon banks.
Alan?
Hello?
Yes, hello, Alan.
Hello, I'm still here, yeah.
We know you're still here. We wondered whether you might have something intelligent to say.
I was listening to what was being said, actually, but...
Yeah, well, he stopped now, so you can talk. Have you got an argument?
No, it doesn't relate to England. This chap's talking about America. He's talking about another country.
Oh, that's all right then, isn't it? Because God, presumably God's only bothered about England, is he?
No, God's bothered about everybody.
Is he?
No.
Right, well, forget the geographical boundaries then, because we made those. God didn't.
It's a difficult one to sort of discuss this, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is for you, isn't it? Yeah.
No, it's not for me. It's difficult for anyone, religion is. There's one or two things that are very difficult, and they're hot potatoes, and this is one of them.
What, you mean you've got no answer to it?
I can't disagree with the facts, because he's obviously sort of surveyed what he said, the other chap has, but I can say that the church in this country doesn't sort of sanctifies.
You go in any church in this country, Alan, and you'll find an awful lot of people who are only there for the show of it,
Well, perhaps they are, yeah, because I've been...
You look at songs of praise, all those people straining their larynxes to be seen to be singing the loudest. It's tragic, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there's an awful
Now, you go into a bookies, man, and you'll find people with their arms around each other, all in it together, all helping each other through difficult days.
Yeah, but they're losing money, aren't they? They're gambling on life,
You're not focusing on what I'm saying.
I'm not, no.
There's more love in a bookies than there is in a church.
Well, you may be right.
I am right, aren't I, Jimmy?
Well, you're absolutely right, Tommy. I think Las Vegas is certainly an amazing example where the Mormon banks did lend the money, for Las Vegas to be created. And they had this wonderful part. I've nothing against the mafia. I'm not sanctimonious about the mafia, but they had this wonderful alliance with the mafia where together they went into business to create this sort of great gambling universe.
What's best, do you think, smoking, drinking, or gambling?
Oh, well, as far as I'm concerned, whatever gets you through the night,
Good boy.
Let him who is without sin cast the first stone.
This is the new religion, realism and gambling.
Well, absolutely. Rarely, I think that from what I can see of organised religion, it's done for God what Stalin did for democratic socialism.
Jimmy, it's been a delight talking to you. Thank you so much for your contribution. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Paul calls from Kent. You're on Talk Radio.
Hello, Tommy. How are you today?
Paul, I've never been better. How are you?
Excellent. I just want to agree with you, Tommy, on this gambling issue.
Fantastic.
I'm a regular gambler myself. Woo! Can't beat it.
No.
Anybody, no wonder church attendances are falling. I mean, how can you possibly compare an afternoon in the bookies to a morning at a church? I mean, come on. Just having a laugh, really.
We don't believe the hope that the church tries to give us anymore, do we?
Nope.
No.
It's rubbish. And yet you can back a horse and it could change your life.
Yeah.
Think about it.
That's hope, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all need hope. We all need hope.
Absolutely.
We need hope. We need faith. We need to believe that our lives could change for the better.
Absolutely, and gambling gives you that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Walk into a bookies with perhaps a £10 note in your pocket and walk out with a couple of thousand.
Yeah.
And it's simple, just pick a couple of winners and you're away.
It's easily done. Have you seen anything going today?
Well, to be honest, I don't really fancy anything today.
No, me neither.
But I've got a big tip on Thursday, Ascari.
Ascari it is?
Yes. And also on Saturday, Crown Secrets. I've had a big word for that one. So if you want to make a fortune, you back those two horses and you'll be absolutely laughing.
Well, Precocious Miss will win her next race next time out, but I don't think the price will be anything. But hey, a winner's a winner.
A winner is a winner, Tommy. And I just want to say, I think that out of town, there should be out-of-town bookmakers, absolutely huge places where you should go in, like huge cathedrals, and there's screens all around, huge betting shops everywhere. That's what it should be like, communal betting.
Because I suppose people who go to church, in a sense, are gambling, aren't they?
Well, I don't think they are, because, I mean, just get bored rotten, won't they? I mean, there's nothing exciting or gambling about that now, is there?
They're hoping that they're backing a certain winner, but it is a bit of a gamble, isn't it?
Well, I mean, let's face it, does God exist? Of course not. The foolish people. Who do they think they're fooling?
I know, but it's the same kind of thing, isn't it? It's hope. It's like when you and I go for the 16-to-1 shot in the 5.45 because we've done our money.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing.
But we studied the form, haven't we? We know a bit of inside information.
Studying the form is just like reading the Bible.
It is.
Isn't it?
Couldn't agree with you more, Tommy.
There.
You're on my wavelength today. Unbelievable.
Paul, you're a fine man. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah to you, Tommy.
Glory.
Keep up the good work.
Glory. Another soul is saved. Another sinner is found. Free call 0500 1053 89. On a very, very serious note, why don't you get people who are devoutly religious, who are as bright and lively and intelligent and full of fun and life, like that old atheist was? Funny that, isn't it? Free call 0500 1053 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
Tommy Boyd.
Another look at the twisting maggots in the deepest recesses of the human soul. Oh, man! On the Tommy Boyd Show.
We're celebrating gambling. It's official. A senior research professor in sociology at the University of Reading has likened betting shops to Britain's churches, except he says that betting shops are doing the better job. There's more compassion, more camaraderie, more hope, more allegiance to the possibility of change, more faith, more contact in a betting shop than in your average church. It's so true. Bert calls from Glasgow. Bert, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Tom, lovely to talk to you.
Bert.
Tell you what, Tom, my father was a gambler right up until his dying day. And when he was ill, I used to put the bets on for him. And I'll tell you, that persuaded me that I wasn't going to gamble. I'll tell you why. When I looked round the betting shop and I saw the chandeliers and the soft carpets and the luxury fittings, I said to myself, well, if that doesn't tell you, old boy, you're going to lose, I don't know what does. But at the same time, it's interesting when people are in an argument, isn't it? They'll say, I'll bet you.
Yes.
Because it shows their insecurity of the argument.
Yes.
So they put a bet on.
Yes.
It's a strange, a really great subject there.
Yes. Bert, thank you for your call. Free call 0500 1053 89. A brief pause. A reminder. The DHL Global Challenge is up and running, but I lost a stack of papers, and I don't know where I lost them. If you're the people who are trying to establish an unofficial website for me, please write again. I've lost it. If you're the person who wrote with the formula for the life-giving herbal tea, which was mentioned on the show a week or so ago, could you write again? I've lost that. If you're that extremely abusive woman from Scotland, please write again, because I do enjoy getting those letters more than any other type. But if you've written with a global challenge, and I remember there was one to Africa, one to the Himalayas, somebody wanted to send some biros up the Himalayas, or if you'd like to climb aboard for the first time. The Global Challenge works like this. DHL is the world's #1 express carrier. But what does that mean? I said to them, since they've very kindly come and joined us on this show, can we find out how good you are? Can I ask listeners if they need to send a package from wherever they are to just about anywhere, as strange a package as they like, as long as it really does need to get wherever it's going, Timbuktu, Western Australia, the Himalayas, the North Pole, I don't know, as long as it's got to go there, as long as it's really got to go there, you need it to go there, you want it to go there, then I'll give you a fax line, okay? Please send your details this afternoon. It's almost first come, first served. Or, of course, you might have something that is, at the moment, the other side of the world or the other side of the channel, and it needs to get to you safe and sound, but as quickly as possible. Just sketch out a few details of whatever the thing is, and it can be a family thing. Maybe somebody's just had a baby, and you want to get a Polaroid shot of the newborn to his cousin in Ayers Rock. I don't know. That sort of thing. Or maybe you run a small business, and there's a machine part, or a machine manual, a log, a piece of documentation. I don't know. You do. I don't. All right? And you would like to send, receive or send that 10,000 miles or 100 miles. All you need to do is head the fax DHL Global Challenge and it will come right through to me in the studio this afternoon if you use this fax number, which I'll repeat again in a minute or so if you want to grab a pen. It's 0541 59 69 79. 0541 59 69 79. It's knocking on 3:30, and we are celebrating, it's official, a sociologist says so, Britain's betting shops are Britain's new churches. Elaine calls from Epping. Elaine, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hi, Tommy. You're absolutely right today. I think gambling is marvellous. I discovered the horses this year. I've only put 3 bets on so far, and unfortunately haven't been lucky, but I want to tell you about a betting shop in Epping, which is fantastic. Yep. My husband asked me to put on a bet. We got a tip. So anyway, I was nervous going in because I thought it's going to be this predominantly male environment. I walk in, and it's 3 women behind, like, the counter, and the place was just, like, full of women. There was, like, these 4 old girls sitting there, and it was such a lovely atmosphere. They showed me how to, place the bet, and told me to pay the tax beforehand, and I loved it. I felt like, sort of, I'd found, you know, like the way men go in pubs and, like, sit around chatting. It was like that. These old women were obviously, like, regulars in there, and it was fantastic.
What a buzz you get, partly from doing something which is sort of feels slightly illicit, even though it's not.
Exactly, that's
it's not.
It's like they say, you know, like people preach about not drinking, but they say like a couple of glasses of wine and a cigarette is good for you because the adrenaline buzz. Yeah. So long as you don't go over the top, I think it's fantastic.
Well, supposing you've retired, okay, and you haven't got the buzz of having to go to work any longer. You know, you walk the dog, you do your shop.
Well, that's it. I've given up work, so I mean, I was lucky enough to marry a rich bloke, so you know, I think 20 quid a week. That's a real buzz, you know.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing like my husband's not really into, isn't a gambler at all. I wouldn't say that I am either. I just wish I knew how to study the form. Like, my friend went to Windsor Races yesterday, and I said to her, I'd love you to put a bet on that. You know,
you just wanted the favourites at Windsor yesterday because they were popping in regulation. Mind you, there were 2 to 5 and 2 to 5. They're not worth backing, really.
So how do you even know what the favourite is? I mean, what you buy?
The favourite is the favourite is the shortest price horse on the bookies board.
When you say shortest price, what do you mean?
Well, you know what 2 to 1 means.
If you put £1 down, you get £2 back.
No, you get £3. You get exactly.
Yeah.
And if a horse is 10 to 1,
you
know what that means.
You get £11 back.
Now, you back the 2 to 1 shot, don't you?
Yeah.
Tell you why? Because the bookies, they're the ones who know. They've done all the work. They've got their ear to the ground. They listen to the grapevine. They know what's most likely to win the race, so they make that one the shortest price. That way, they're not going to lose so much money.
So, if you've got the Derby coming up, for example, I don't know if the Derby is coming up, but say the Derby's coming up or the National or something like that, it's better to place your bets earlier rather than on the day.
That's true.
Is that right?
We know what's going to win the Derby next year.
Listen, mate, I'm never taking your advice again because the first bet I ever put on was this year at the National.
I got you.
And do you know how much I did? 50 quid.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bloody Nora.
This is a...
All right, get your money back. Back Precocious Miss on Sunbury. Where's it running?
What was it?
Newbury on
that?
Sunday, yes. No,
Tell me again.
Precocious Miss on Sunday.
Right.
2:15.
Okay.
Can't lose.
And where's that winning? Where's that running?
At Newbury, I think.
At Newbury.
2:15.
So how much do I put on this time?
Sunday. Well, have a look at the prices, and if you can get any evens, do your 50 again, and that way we'll be square.
When you say evens, what does that mean?
That means you get back whatever you put on, plus your stake back. You there? She's gone.
And I'm still here, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, and well done for getting involved in gambling and marrying a rich bloke.
So listen, I want to say, all the ladies that fancy a gamble but are put off, come down to Epping, it's fab.
Elaine, thanks for your call.
No problem, bye.
Nice lady. Haven't some people got their lives sorted out? You see, this is something that I was never able to do. I would have done it. I would have married a rich woman. But you don't get them. Here's another reason why it's better to be a woman than a man. Because you've always got that option. You can always marry a rich bloke. And men can't. If you did marry a rich woman, give me a call and just gloat. Because I'd just like to hear what it's like. It must be fantastic. Free call 0500 1053 89. When I was a redcoat at Butlins, when redcoats used to receive a number of romantic propositions. Can I put it like that? And me and this other redcoat, because we fancied ourselves a bit, we toyed with the idea of going down to the south of France and trying to sort of gigolo our way around the Mediterranean, but didn't have the nerve to do it. I wonder if people do it. I mean, it's a 1 in 1,000 shot, but we are talking about gambling. If you've ever done anything like that, free call 0500 10 53 89. I mean, we'll slip it into the show because other people's lives are fascinating, aren't they? Sarah calls from London. Sarah, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too, Tommy.
Smoking, drinking, or gambling, which is best?
All of them are bad as each other.
No, that's not true.
That is totally true. I mean, come off it. All you're going on about gloating about gambling. All the money just accumulates to the rich, isn't there? After all, it's money. I think it's just ridiculous. There's no moral to it at all. And the harms that even alcohol causes, I mean, come off it. We've got kids dying, drink driving. I mean, it's just bad as each other.
Oh, you poor old thing.
No, don't call me
What
poor.
age are you?
I'm 18.
Oh, dear.
What? Oh, dear.
Oh, what a
No
state
way.
to
And
get in.
also about churches. I don't go to church, and I don't believe it's right. Church is very hypocritical.
Well, what do you believe in then, Petal?
What do I believe in?
Yeah.
Well, I believe in one God.
Oh, dear.
What? Oh, dear. What
For a
do
minute,
you know
well,
about?
for a minute, I thought we were going to have an interesting conversation.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah. Well, when you said you didn't go to church, I assumed you were interesting.
Oh, yeah, right.
But you're not, are you?
No.
What else do you believe in? What makes your life worthwhile? What makes your heart sing? What makes your spirit soar? What makes you hurl open the window on a typical morning and sing, "Oh, what a beautiful morning"? What does that to you? Huh?
What does that to me?
Yeah.
What? Just being nice. I mean, the money, if I instead of gambling, I can give that money to the poor and see myself happy that someone else has got a life, someone else has got a chance to go forward. I think it's just a waste of money.
You don't have to spend any money in the bookies. You're all worried about the poor. Where can the poor go of a daytime? Can they go to the library anymore? No, they'll be thrown out. Where do the poor go? Where do the homeless go in the daytime, Sarah?
Well, not necessarily in this country. I mean, the homeless, they can get money from the Social Security if they want to. But we're talking about people abroad as well. I mean, there are lots of people dying. Come off it in the Kenyan, recent
They
case.
go to the bookies, Sarah, because that's the only place that will let them come in and sit. Don't you me. When was the last time you were in the bookies?
I've never been.
Well, you can't go
I think it's a load of crap. Well, my father used to go, and I think it's a load of crap.
There you are, you see. We've got a lot of people who disapprove of gambling because their daddies did it. So let's bring Freud into this one. It's just because, you have substituted this hate figure, which was your father, with gambling. Well, gambling doesn't deserve that. Free call 0500 10 53 89. It is an honest and an honourable occupation. Because for some people it is an occupation. John calls from Hove. John, you're on Talk Radio.
Hi, Tommy.
Sir.
I'll tell you one thing. More praying goes on in bookmakers than in churches. Whenever I've been in there, I've heard God and Jesus' name mentioned much more often than I ever have when I used to go to church. But they do provide a service, bookmakers, for the wannabe Christians who want to pray to higher forces because they can't go to church anymore because the Anglican bishops have said that the gays can't go, the fornicators can't go, and the Bible says that drunks can't go to church.
Well, we let drunks and gays
and fornicators
and lesbians and fornicators and adulterers.
Yep.
And murderers, provided they have done their bird, they are allowed in bookies.
Yeah, they can't go to church, though.
What?
They've got no haven. They can't go to church.
That's it.
Yeah. But religion, actually, do you know what the word religion means?
Yes.
It means to bond together. It's nothing spiritual.
Sort of. No.
Religare is the Latin, and it just means a group of people to get together who've got like-minded views. And another thing is, at least in the bookies, you've got a chance of getting some money back. You go into a church and they'll take every penny off you.
Wait, I've got a bookie on line 12.
Oh.
Wait, join the conversation. Stay with me, John.
Mm-hmm.
It's Graham Hill who's called up from Bookies William Hill.
Yeah.
Graham, you're on Talk Radio. Hello.
How you doing, Tommy?
Thank you for calling.
Tommy, now then, you're advising your listeners here to take even money about precocious miss at Newbury on Sunday.
If you can get it,
Well, I'm happy to lay it to you. As you know, I work for William Hill. So you want an even 50 quid on precocious miss? I'll accept that as your donation this week to the Bookmakers Benevolent Society.
All right. Do you want my account number?
Absolutely. But if I were you, I wouldn't put it out after the air because you might find that you're back in other things you know nothing about.
Does that happen? No, never. That's kind of you. Do you know the horse I'm talking about?
No, but if you're tipping it, it's got to be good news for us to take a bet for it, hasn't
Well,
it?
John Reed gave it one of those lovely rides that he gives a 2-year-old first time out. Do you know what?
You can say that. I couldn't possibly comment.
He lets it have a little bit to do, you know. I'm not saying he holds it up. I'm saying he lets it have a little bit to do, and then he lets it down at the distance just to see what it's got, and it had
it's
everything.
known as a tender introduction to the game.
That sort of thing. So am I on?
You're on if you want to be on.
I'm on. Graham, we worship at your altar. Thank you.
So you should.
What a nice man. There. We've got evens about Precocious Miss on Sunday at Newbury. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I ought to have asked him about Dangerous Dancer, because that's quite hot too, but next time. Graham, thank you for your call. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Britain's betting shops. They are our new church. Let's talk to Arnold, who calls from London. Arnold, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon. Arnold, are you with us?
Hey?
Arnold, hello.
Hello. Are you there, Tom?
I am now, yes.
Why aren't these places family institutions?
What a good idea.
Because, you know, it's a place where everyone can go, and you said they're warm. Well, they're too warm these days, but a lot of them are air-conditioned as well, so you're cool in the summer.
Yeah.
But why was it always thought of as a vice?
I don't know. I'm not sure whether they should be family places, Arnold, you know, because there are times in an adult's day when you do actually just want to be with your pals.
Well,
know what I'm saying?
you could have like they have in pubs, couldn't you?
And if you're going to concentrate on the form, Arnold.
Yeah.
If you're going to concentrate on the form, you don't really want somebody tugging at your shirt and asking for a lolly.
But you look at amusement arcades like down on the coast and that. I mean,
Start 'em
kids
young.
they like getting in there, don't they?
And you know, the best arcade game of the lot, Arnold, it's that horse one. Do you know where the horses...
Yeah, I know.
Oh, isn't it great?
Right, but I still don't see why they couldn't have separate areas and that. But on the moral point, is there any problem with it with you?
Not with me, Arnold. Not with me. Thank you for your call. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There is a good argument for listening.
What's going on here?
A populist identification with the underdog against the powerful and the fraudulent.
Talk Radio. Nudge, nudge. Yes.
Who's the target?
And speaking of fraudulent, we're talking about the church this afternoon. A professor of sociology at the University of Reading has put out a paper which I think is in this month's Sociology Today, if you want to get hold of it and go through it with a fine-tooth comb. But the nitty-gritty is this. He says that our betting shops are our new churches because they close their doors to no one. They are warm, comfortable, dry. They offer privacy. They offer somewhere to sit. They offer dignity to the homeless man. They offer dignity to the unemployed. They offer contact, camaraderie, a little hope, the possibility of change. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Colin calls from Surrey. Colin, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy.
Colin.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that, as a Christian. One of these vivacious Christians, not the boring ones that you refer to.
We'll be the judge of
says
that.
on it, he pats his own back, because his hand's there already. What you said about the betting shops and what the sociologist says, I agree with a lot of that, but the genuine church, have you ever had a counterfeit £5 note?
No.
No? Well, if you did have one, it wouldn't put you off the genuine, would it?
Becomes a parable. Go on.
No, it's not a parable. It's an analogy, Tommy. You do that to people, don't you? But it's true, isn't it? It wouldn't put you off a genuine £5 note, would it?
I'm sorry, I'm not with you. What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
If you had a counterfeit £5 note passed you,
yes.
it would anger you, hopefully, but it wouldn't put you off the genuine article, would it? It wouldn't say, right, from now on, I'm not touching another £5 note.
Well, all right, and for the sake of argument, no, it wouldn't.
Thank you very much.
No.
And you couldn't have a counterfeit £5 note that had any possibility of being passed as a counterfeit unless there was a genuine, could you? I'm waiting.
Well, go on, yeah. No, you couldn't, no.
Thank you. And there is a lot of
Is this the sort of thing you discuss at Bible classes now?
No, you're just trying to be sarcastic. I thought you wanted a good argument.
I still do.
Well, don't be sarcastic. Listen to my point and then answer it. Okay?
Well, I'd rather it was ad-lib rather than this story that you keep
Oh, come on. I've got to be strict with you,
Thomas
Tommy.
Aquinas said, I can prove there's a God, all right? Yeah, so, all right, then I played your game, now you play mine. This is Thomas Aquinas, 12th century, all right?
Uh-huh.
All right, you're an atheist, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You're an atheist, are you, Colin?
I used to be a militant agnostic.
Yeah, okay. But you can imagine God, can't you?
Sorry, how do you mean?
You're
As an atheist, I can imagine God?
Yes.
I guess so.
Yeah, of course you can. Everyone can imagine God, even if you don't believe in him, right? Okay. And can you imagine anything greater than the God that you're imagining?
I guess not.
No.
Especially if you don't have a framework to know how to imagine him.
And God, which is therefore the greatest thing in your imagination, which is now existent in your imagination, therefore exists. Da-da! What a load of rubbish.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you could go down that route. Let's go back to gambling, shall we? Tommy, should we stay on the point?
All those attempts to prove that God exists logically are a complete waste of time, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, generally.
Come on,
Because you can't throw pearls before swine, can you, Tommy?
Come on.
If somebody doesn't want to believe something, they won't, and you're wasting your breath. When I was first a Christian, I'd stay up all night talking to people and trying to persuade them. It's a waste of time. But if people want to know, I'll spend all night with them, if they want to know, but I won't ever force them. But going back to gambling...
Have you been in our schools lately?
Sorry?
Have you been in our schools lately?
Absolutely.
Yes. Have you ever been in a school in which a day passed without religion being laid before children as their only hope of salvation?
Well, yes, I have. But I've just got back from 12 months in the States where that's illegal. So they can do Chinese religion and do Halloween, and they can do devils and demons, but they can't do Christianity.
No, you
So
can't
that's
do anything
another
but in this country.
That's another
And
story.
that's our story. You can't do anything but in this country.
Well, I agree. I think a lot of the... I mean, I know your wife's a teacher, but I would agree that a lot of the so-called religion that's passed before the kids is nothing to do with the God of the Bible, unfortunately. It's a lot of empty, as somebody said earlier, boredom. And unfortunately, there's a lot of counterfeit religion around that gives the church, the genuine church, which means the body of Christ, not just the building, a bad name. But going back to gambling, can we go back to gambling?
I wish we could, because I'm very...
Going back to gambling, what you said
Do you
about
honestly
a place of
suppose anybody
sanctity-
could tell anybody who's been born and brought up in this country anything about religion that they haven't heard 100,000 times?
Well, it's not just about hearing, see? See, in the Bible it says that we cannot help but witness of what we've seen and heard.
All right, you're going to quote the Bible, I'm going to quote the Racing Post, all right?
Okay, go ahead.
Yep, fair enough.
I'm just trying to answer what you said.
All right.
I mean, a lot of people have heard till they're sick in the teeth.
The 345...
That doesn't mix my cliches.
The 345 at air, a chance should be given to asset manager to put a recent Goodwood failure behind him on ground which will suit. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Do you feel better for that?
No, it was for your benefit.
But see, I think the church...
It says so in the Racing
what
Post.
you quoted as the betting officers around this country giving the benefit to people of a warm place to go, companionship, acceptance. The real church does all that and much more.
No.
It does.
Not true.
Well, have you been in a real church recently?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah?
You go there when children go to have those dreadful christenings, which is a ludicrous business.
I agree.
Isn't it?
I agree.
And you know what you
No,
lot...
hang on,
you
I
know,
agree
you know,
with you,
You know what
Tommy.
you lot... You know what you lot...
You don't want me to agree with you, do you? I agree.
Your
I think
people,
those awful christenings are
you
dreadful.
tell children that they won't go to heaven unless they've got a Christian name.
I don't do that, no.
Well, you shouldn't... Well, don't claim to be a Christian then, because Christians do.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes, they do.
You got one of those funny Jehovah's Witness Bibles or
They
something?
damn well do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, when my church started,
And what about
we all met in a pub, Tommy.
that stupid Christian who was trying to lay healing hands on that gay Christian outside the bishop's conference then?
I wasn't back. I was still in the States. But I heard about it. I heard
What
it was
a
bit...
dreadful,
I heard it was...
dreadful altercation that was.
I heard it was dreadful, yeah.
Yeah, you better sort Christianity out, because,
Well,
I mean, on the scale of moral things, man, you know, top of the pops, it's down there, 19 on its way
No,
out
not
of
the
the
genuine
charts.
article, Tommy.
And
Not the
gambling.
genuine article.
Gambling, where we offer a hand of friendship and a genuine arm of camaraderie.
See, I laid hands on someone in the park the other week, and his leg grew an inch after having polio for 65 years. Now that's something you can't say, hey, I did that because I didn't. But that's something I'm talking about having seen and heard. We're sick of just hearing stuff, and Christians are called to heal the sick. Not just talk about it, not just go around acting clever or acting cool, but actually doing it and getting on with it. And it's not cool because you get laughed at, you get misunderstood, you get blamed for all sorts of stuff, but it needs doing.
Why
and
did
it happens, it works.
Why did God take away the use of this bloke's legs?
Well, you see, we're living in a war zone.
No,
It's
just
not-
answer
it's
the
not-
question. Just
well,
answer the question.
I'm answering it, Tommy, but you want one-word sound bites, don't you?
God took his legs
No,
away.
you
so
want
who are
one-word sound bites, don't you?
God took his legs away.
If I don't say what you want to hear, you just talk over
No, just
me, don't
answer
you?
the question.
I'm trying to.
No,
with,
just
with
answer the question. No, don't-
intelligence, but you want just a one-phrase answer, don't
I'd
you?
like you to say something that's from Colin in Surrey and not...
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm
No.
trying to answer you.
You're not.
I'm saying what I genuinely believe. I believe
No,
we're
but it's
living in a
somebody
war
else's
zone.
belief that you've swallowed. You've never had an original thought in your life, and you've certainly never articulated one to me.
Are you sure?
Yes. Damn sure, man. Because you're living in fear of the shadow of this thing called God that you hope is going to save you and damn everybody else. That's your hope.
Well, I genuinely believe that. And I don't believe it's going to damn everyone else.
Yes, you
I
do.
believe- Tommy,
Yes, you do. Yes,
Tommy,
you do.
If we refuse to receive him now, why would we want him in eternity?
Does your goddamn people?
If they refuse to accept him, yeah.
Your goddamns people. I'd rather have a South American dictator than your God.
But why would you want God for eternity if you don't want him now? Answer me that. With the soundbite.
I don't understand the question.
Really?
No, because the question presupposes so many things, and probably out of ignorance or laziness, because Christians are both
Let
ignorant
me put it
and
differently.
lazy.
If there is a God, Tommy, right? If there is a God, and if he's genuine, and if he loves people, and if he loves you, and if he did die for you, if that's true, if there's any vague hope that that could be true, not having studied the evidence, obviously, but if there's any vague hope that that could be true, would you want him now?
No.
Well, if you wouldn't want him now, if it's true, and provably true. Hang on,
Can you get on with it and stop preaching? Just talk to me.
No, I'm not preaching.
Yes, you are. You're seeing yourself up there on a pulpit.
No,
you
I'm
can
trying
see
to
yourself
present-
in a
it's a good argument
fantastic
for listening. I'm
flowing.
trying to present my
You can
argument,
see yourself
Tommy.
in purple and a gown, and
Don't
you
be
can see
ridiculous.
lots of people thinking Colin is the
dreadful in
way.
purple. Don't be ridiculous.
Colin is the way. Just come on, get on with it. Get on with it.
Jesus is the way, Tommy. I'm not the way, mate.
Get on with it.
Okay, if he's genuine, if he's provably genuine, and he's provably there to your satisfaction, you still wouldn't want him. So why would you want him in eternity? Why would you want heaven?
I don't.
Well, then that's why you'll go to hell if you don't receive him.
Ah, cheers,
you
mate.
don't want to. No, but
cheers, mate. You go to hell.
Because you don't want to receive him.
You're
You
in
said
hell.
that.
You're in hell now.
Hell
'cause
does
you're-
start now. That's very
yeah,
true.
Yeah.
It's very insightful.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any better than this, Colin. So make the most of it whilst you're
It
here.
does get a lot better than
No,
this.
it doesn't, because there is no God, there is no heaven, and when you die, that's it. And you will have wasted your life and wasted your breath and wasted
I
an
was
awful
wasting
lot.
my life before with drugs and goodness knows what, the stuff that you say we should rejoice in.
I never said we should rejoice in drugs. How dare you?
You did. Cigarettes, gambling.
Cigarettes aren't drugs. You call cigarettes drugs?
You're saying which is the best? Yes, it is a drug. Of course it's a drug.
No,
Don't
it
act
isn't.
silly. You've got intelligence.
Now, when you say drugs, you're talking about cocaine and marijuana, and I am not proposing that people turn to those. How dare you slyly, you thought, cleverly, suggest that I did?
No, don't be ridiculous. Yeah. Cigarettes are drugs, Tommy, and you know they are.
No, they're not.
They're addictive.
They're not drugs.
They
They're not
are,
classed
'cause I was
as.
addicted
They
to
are
them for a
not
long
classed as drugs. Well, you're a weak man. That's clear.
I am, yes.
Yeah, very weak.
I am.
Yeah.
I don't mind admitting it.
Too weak to make up your own life as you go along.
I'm more prepared to admit it than you are, Tommy.
Ah, but you're still quite competitive, though, aren't you?
Oh, very competitive, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why you hope I burn in hell forever.
No, I don't hope. I love you. I wouldn't hope that you burn in hell. I don't want anyone to burn in hell. That's a very stupid, facetious comment.
I bet I care about you more than you care about me.
All right, let's meet for a jar after my church, and we'll take it from there. When our church met, we met in a pub.
Do you know, if you really had any love...
Did you hear me?
If you
We
had
met in a pub.
If you really had any love...
We met in a pub,
If you
Tommy.
really had any love, you'd sort out whoever's coughing behind you instead of showing off on the radio.
He's coughing because he's got a cold. And you can't force a child not to cough. You know that. You've got your own.
If you care about anything, you'd be cuddling that child and not showing off on the
Tommy, don't be
radio, because
ridiculous.
I would never, ever...
Don't be ridiculous.
I would never, ever show off on the radio if there was a sick child in the room who needed my care.
You'd only show off the radio when you're in the studio, would you?
Correct. It's a good try, Colin. It was a good try, Colin, but needs more
No,
work.
it's just that you were making some very good points, because I agree that the betting shops are a substitute church. People have got a vacuum. There's a real vacuum in people's lives today. And that does go some way to filling it.
Not if they got the bookies, man. Free call 0500 1053 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. We're celebrating gambling. Betting shops are Britain's new churches. They turn no one away. They are comfortable, they are warm, they are sanctuaries. They offer privacy, they offer contentment, they offer someone to sit who previously knows no dignity. They offer contact, they offer hope, they offer the possibility of change. This isn't me talking. This is a senior professor of sociology whose paper is published in the Current Sociology today. And amen to what he has to say. Amen. Free call 0500 1053 89. There goes my knee again. Andrew calls from Oxford. You're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon, Andrew.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
I'm just wondering how you get away with all this verbal abuse.
How I get away with it?
Yeah.
In what sense?
Well, the last chap phoned up and you've been totally abusive to him.
Well, he told me I was going to burn in hell. I mean, you
no,
can't get
you
much more...
sparked that off.
Well, he said it.
No, you caused all that.
He
and I'm
said
just
it.
wondering how you get away with it.
Well, how does somebody get away with telling
The girl
somebody...
who I spoke to on the phone says you have a bevy of solicitors and barristers and people to support you. Is that how you get away with it?
No, she made that up.
Oh, because you seem to be utterly amoral yourself.
Is that right?
Yeah, you don't seem to have any morals, but you get away with this abuse on the radio, which I think is very, very sad.
You know you don't.
Yeah, I think
no,
it's
you don't.
very,
You're not
very sad.
You're
I
not
think
in, you're not in touch with yourself. When people say that, they don't mean
yourself.
that.
I haven't heard anything of you on this programme. I've just heard drivel.
Yeah, but you said it's sad and it's not
I
sad.
think the real you is a very frightened, sad little man.
No.
But I tell you what, I wouldn't
Listen,
leave
pal.
you on the programme. I'd sack you.
How would you?
Yeah, because you're abusing your privilege.
Privilege?
It's our air network, and you're abusing it.
It's not your network, pal. It's my network.
It's ours.
It doesn't belong to you.
You wouldn't be on it without us tuning in to you.
No, but you do.
I will never tune in to you again.
Good.
But
I don't want
I have
you to.
heard you this time, and once is enough.
Fine. Clear off then. Do you think I honestly want the likes of you listening to this work of art?
The likes of you.
Yeah,
See,
the
there
likes
you go
of
again.
you. That's right. You got it.
What
pal.
about the likes of you that are abusing the privilege?
Who says it's a privilege? That's such an
It
old-fashioned
is a
idea.
privilege
It's not
for
a
you to
privilege
have
at all.
your so-called show, which is just a description for a disaster, because that's what your show is, a disaster.
Hey, listen, come here, pal.
I'm here. I'm as here as you're ever going to get me near to you.
I want to talk to you. Okay.
Well, what have you been doing for the last 2 minutes?
Well, I'm just going to share something with you, okay? Just for you, okay?
Yeah, especially for me. Gosh, awesome. I'm waiting.
All right. The idea of the show, right, is that you get pillocks to ring in and express their discontent.
It takes one to know one, Tommy.
Yeah, but you did, didn't you?
I phoned in because I was appalled at what you were getting away with.
Exactly.
So what you're talking about?
Exactly.
What you're talking about is ratings.
You are my lifeblood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've played into your hands.
You got to be
because
stupid.
Actually, you may well be a human being. I can't believe it.
You got to be stupid to fall for it, but you did.
You reckon? Well, then you've been exposed.
Well, here you are,
too, haven't you?
Here you are.
You've been exposed too.
My listeners know what goes on.
Your listeners do now.
Yeah. No, they always have done.
Cheerio.
How do you feel? Gone. Gone. Fantastic. You see, we need new listeners who don't get it. That's what we need on the air. We need new listeners who don't get it. They are fantastic. They've never heard anything like it before. You know, they think if he says it on the radio, A, it must have been researched, B, he must mean it. Because nobody flirts with the other side of the medal, MEDAL, on the radio. Or do they? Free call 0500 1053 89. I'm Tommy.
Ground control to Major Tom.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.